Have you ever looked at your flower pots in the middle of summer and wondered why they suddenly stopped looking their best? Just a few weeks ago, they were overflowing with colorful blooms, healthy green leaves, and vigorous growth. But now the flowers are disappearing, the foliage is turning yellow, and the soil seems to dry out almost immediately after watering. Most gardeners assume the summer heat is to blame, but that's only part of the story. In reality, July rarely ruins container flowers by itself. Instead, it reveals the small gardening mistakes that have quietly built up since spring. The good news is that nearly every one of these problems can be fixed with a few simple habits. In today's video, you'll discover 6 easy techniques that will keep your potted flowers healthy, colorful, and blooming continuously throughout the hottest weeks of summer.
Make sure you stay until the end, because the final tip is one that experienced gardeners rely on every year, yet many beginners completely overlook it. 1. Water deeply instead of watering more often. One of the biggest reasons container flowers begin struggling in July is improper watering. As temperatures climb, many gardeners instinctively reach for the watering can several times a day. They notice the top layer of soil looks dry, give the pot a quick splash of water, and believe the plant has everything it needs. Unfortunately, this common habit often creates the exact opposite effect. Light watering only moistens the surface, while the deeper root zone remains dry. Since roots naturally grow toward moisture, they begin staying close to the top of the container instead of spreading throughout the soil. Those shallow roots heat up quickly, dry out much faster during hot afternoons, and leave the plant under constant stress.
Before long, flowers begin wilting every day, even though they're being watered repeatedly. A much better method is to water slowly and thoroughly until excess water drains freely from the bottom of the pot. This ensures the entire root ball becomes evenly moist while eliminating hidden dry pockets deep inside the container. Deep watering also encourages roots to grow downward, where temperatures stay cooler and moisture lasts much longer. Early morning is the ideal time to water because plants can absorb moisture before the day's intense heat arrives. It also gives the leaves plenty of time to dry, reducing the chances of fungal diseases developing overnight. Another mistake many gardeners make is watering according to the calendar instead of checking the soil itself. Every container dries at a different rate. Pots sitting in full sun may require daily watering, while those growing in partial shade can remain moist for several days. Before adding water, simply push your finger a couple of inches into the potting mix. If the soil still feels damp beneath the surface, wait another day. If it's dry, give the container a slow, deep soaking. This simple habit helps prevent both overwatering and underwatering, two problems that often produce nearly identical symptoms. Healthy roots need oxygen just as much as they need moisture. Constantly saturated soil forces oxygen out of the root zone, weakening roots and increasing the risk of rot. On the other hand, allowing containers to dry out completely puts enormous stress on the plant and often causes flower buds to drop before they even open. Finding the right balance is the secret to continuous blooms. Many gardeners are amazed by how quickly their flowers recover after switching from frequent, shallow watering to deep, thorough watering. Leaves become firm again, fresh buds begin forming, and the entire plant quickly regains its healthy appearance. Sometimes improving your watering routine has a greater impact than any expensive fertilizer or garden product. 2. Feed your flowers before they begin losing strength. Container flowers rely entirely on the nutrients found in the limited amount of potting mix surrounding their roots. Unlike plants growing in the ground, they don't have access to an endless supply of minerals, organic matter, and beneficial microorganisms. Every time you water, some of those nutrients are gradually washed out through the drainage holes. During spring, this usually isn't a major problem because plants are growing more slowly and using fewer nutrients. But by midsummer, everything changes. Flowers are producing new leaves, stems, buds, and blossoms almost nonstop, dramatically increasing their nutritional needs. Without regular feeding, even healthy plants gradually lose their vigor. Flowers become smaller, colors fade, stems weaken, and blooming slows down. Many gardeners assume this is simply part of the season, when in reality, the plants are just running out of nutrients. The solution isn't applying large amounts of fertilizer all at once. Too much fertilizer can damage roots, encourage excessive leafy growth, and even reduce flowering. Instead, successful gardeners feed their containers lightly but consistently throughout the season. A balanced liquid fertilizer every week or two provides a steady supply of nutrients without overwhelming the plant. Slow-release fertilizers are another excellent option because they gradually release nutrients every time the container is watered. Many experienced gardeners combine both methods by using slow-release granules as a base, while supplementing with liquid fertilizer during periods of heavy blooming. Not every flower has the same nutritional requirements. Heavy bloomers like Petunias, Calibrachoa, million bells, and geraniums consume enormous amounts of nutrients throughout summer because producing hundreds of flowers requires tremendous energy. Foliage plants and slower-growing ornamentals usually need much less fertilizer. Understanding the needs of each plant allows you to feed more effectively instead of treating every container exactly the same. Your flowers often show signs of nutrient shortages before serious problems develop. Pale leaves can signal nitrogen deficiency. Purple or reddish foliage may indicate low phosphorus, while weak stems and poor flowering often suggest a lack of potassium. Rather than trying to diagnose every individual deficiency, many gardeners achieve excellent results by using a complete fertilizer formulated specifically for flowering plants. Weather also affects feeding schedules. Heavy rain washes nutrients out of containers more quickly, while extended periods of hot weather cause plants to grow faster and use more resources. Adjusting your feeding routine throughout the season helps maintain healthy growth. One simple rule should always be followed: never fertilize dry soil. If necessary, water first and then apply fertilizer to moist potting mix to protect delicate roots and distribute nutrients evenly. Proper nutrition does much more than encourage flowers. Healthy plants develop stronger roots, recover faster from heat stress, and naturally resist pests and diseases more effectively. By making fertilizing a regular habit instead of an emergency solution, you'll enjoy brighter blooms, healthier foliage, and vigorous growth all summer long. 3. Remove faded blooms before they form seeds. Deadheading may be one of the simplest gardening jobs, but it has one of the biggest impacts on keeping container flowers blooming for months. Every flowering plant has one main goal in nature: to produce seeds. Once a flower has been pollinated and begins forming seeds, the plant believes its work is finished. Instead of creating new blossoms, it shifts its energy toward ripening those seeds. That's why containers filled with faded flowers often stop blooming much sooner than expected. Removing old flowers interrupts that natural cycle. By cutting off spent blooms before seeds develop, you encourage the plant to continue producing new flower buds. The results can be dramatic. A tired-looking petunia covered with faded flowers can often burst into fresh color within a week after proper deadheading. The key is removing more than just the dry petals. Many flowers leave behind a swollen seed pod hidden beneath the old bloom. If that seed pod remains attached, the plant will continue investing energy into seed production. Instead, pinch or trim the stem just above the next healthy leaf or side shoot, removing the entire developing seed head. This not only encourages more flowers, but also stimulates branching, creating fuller, bushier plants covered with even more blooms. Some gardeners avoid deadheading because they think it's time-consuming, but spending only a few minutes every couple of days prevents the task from becoming overwhelming. While watering your containers, simply remove any faded flowers you notice. This quick routine keeps plants looking tidy while encouraging continuous blooming. Many popular summer flowers, including geraniums, marigolds, zinnias, dahlias, cosmos, and petunias, respond exceptionally well to regular deadheading. Even self-cleaning varieties benefit from occasional trimming to remove damaged stems and encourage fresh growth. Deadheading also improves airflow through dense foliage. Old flowers often trap moisture after rain or watering, creating ideal conditions for fungal diseases. Removing them allows leaves to dry more quickly, improves air circulation, and keeps plants healthier throughout the hottest months of the year. At the same time, your containers immediately look fresher, cleaner, and far more attractive while preparing for another beautiful wave of blooms. 4. Protect the roots, not just the flowers. When we admire a beautiful container filled with flowers, our attention naturally goes to the colorful blooms above the soil. But during the hottest weeks of summer, the real battle is happening underground. On a scorching July afternoon, a dark flower pot sitting in full sun can become far hotter than the surrounding air. While leaves may benefit from a gentle breeze, the roots remain trapped inside a container that absorbs and stores heat for hours. Once the root system becomes overheated, the entire plant begins to suffer. Water absorption slows down, nutrients become harder to take up, flower buds begin dropping, and leaves start wilting even though moisture may still be present in the soil. Many gardeners mistake these symptoms for a lack of water, when excessive heat around the roots is often the real cause. The easiest way to prevent this problem is by keeping the root zone as cool as possible throughout the day. Whenever possible, place your containers where they'll receive plenty of gentle morning sunlight, but some protection from the intense afternoon sun. Even a few hours of shade during the hottest part of the day can dramatically reduce heat stress while still allowing your flowers to bloom beautifully. If moving the pots isn't practical, placing the nursery pot inside a decorative outer container creates an insulating layer that slows heat buildup around the roots. Choosing light-colored pots instead of dark ones also makes a noticeable difference because lighter surfaces reflect sunlight rather than absorbing it.
Mulch is just as valuable in containers as it is in garden beds. A thin layer of shredded bark, pine needles, decorative gravel, or chopped leaves spread across the surface of the soil helps reduce evaporation, shields the potting mix from direct sunlight, and keeps the root system cooler throughout the day. Moisture remains available longer, and roots experience fewer dramatic temperature swings between hot afternoons and cooler nights. Some gardeners even plant trailing flowers around the edges of large containers, so their foliage naturally shades the soil while creating an even fuller display. Container size also plays a much bigger role than many people realize. Small pots hold very little soil, causing them to dry out rapidly during hot weather. Larger containers contain more growing medium, allowing moisture to remain available for longer while providing better insulation against sudden temperature changes. That's why flowers growing in large patio planters often stay healthy, while identical plants in small hanging baskets struggle through the very same heat. If your containers dry out every summer despite frequent watering, switching to slightly larger pots may solve the problem more effectively than changing fertilizers or watering schedules. Wind can also quietly increase plant stress. While a breezy patio feels comfortable to us, constant wind dramatically speeds up moisture loss from both the leaves and the soil. Containers placed on balconies, rooftops, decks, or exposed patios usually dry much faster than those growing in sheltered corners of the garden. Keeping several pots grouped together creates a cooler, more humid microclimate where neighboring plants help shade each other's containers and reduce evaporation throughout the hottest hours of the day. Healthy flowers always begin with healthy roots. Every leaf, every stem, and every bloom depends on the invisible work happening beneath the soil. Once you start protecting the root system, instead of focusing only on watering the flowers, you'll notice greener leaves, stronger growth, and far more dependable blooming, even during the hottest weeks of summer. 5. Prune your flowers regularly instead of waiting until they become overgrown. Many gardeners hesitate to trim healthy-looking plants because they're afraid of cutting off flowers. In reality, regular light pruning is one of the biggest reasons experienced gardeners enjoy beautiful containers that continue blooming for months. By the middle of summer, many annual flowers begin producing long, stretched stems with blooms only at the very tips. The centers become thin, airflow decreases, and fewer fresh shoots develop. If left alone, these plants continue getting taller while producing fewer flowers. Light pruning completely changes that pattern. Whenever stems begin looking leggy, shorten them by about 1/3. This simple cut wakes up dormant buds hidden along the stems, encouraging them to produce several new branches. Within just a few weeks, one long stem can become multiple shorter shoots, each capable of producing its own flowers. Rather than reducing blooms, pruning actually leads to an even larger floral display later in the season. Petunias are one of the best examples of this technique. By midsummer, they often become stretched, tangled, and sparse near the base. Many gardeners assume the plant is finished and replace it entirely. Experienced growers simply cut back the longest stems, remove faded flowers, water deeply, and provide a light feeding. 2 or 3 weeks later, the same plant often looks completely rejuvenated, covered with fresh green growth and another explosion of colorful blooms. Many other flowering plants respond just as well, including Calibrachoa, verbena, bacopa, lobelia, sweet alyssum, and many similar annuals. Although flowering may slow briefly after pruning, the long-term results are almost always far better than allowing the plant to continue declining. Think of pruning as giving your flowers a fresh beginning instead of damaging them. Always use clean, sharp pruning scissors or garden snips to make smooth cuts that heal quickly. Dull blades crush stems, creating unnecessary wounds that invite disease. While trimming, remove yellow leaves, damaged stems, and any diseased growth you notice. This improves the appearance of your containers while allowing the plant to direct more energy toward healthy new growth. Pruning also improves airflow throughout dense foliage. Better air circulation helps leaves dry more quickly after watering or rainfall, reducing the risk of fungal diseases like powdery mildew and botrytis. At the same time, more sunlight reaches the lower parts of the plant, encouraging fuller growth from top to bottom. Instead of being afraid to prune, make it one of your most valuable gardening habits. Just a few careful cuts every couple of weeks can completely transform tired-looking containers into lush displays that continue flowering well into autumn. 6. Move your containers as the season changes. One of the most common gardening mistakes is assuming that a flower pot thriving in May or June will remain equally happy throughout July and August.
As summer progresses, the angle of the sun changes, temperatures rise, and areas that once received gentle morning light may suddenly spend hours baking in intense afternoon sunshine. A location that seemed perfect earlier in the season can quickly become too stressful for many flowering plants. Take a few minutes each week to observe how sunlight moves across your garden, patio, or balcony. If your containers are exposed to 6 or 7 hours of harsh afternoon sun during a heat wave, consider moving them somewhere they'll still receive plenty of bright morning light while enjoying some shade during the hottest hours of the day. Most flowering annuals don't need nonstop sunshine from sunrise to sunset to bloom beautifully. In fact, reducing afternoon heat often results in healthier foliage and even more flowers. Grouping containers together also provides surprising benefits. Pots placed close to one another create a cooler, more humid environment that slows moisture loss while helping protect the root systems from overheating. Taller plants naturally shade smaller containers, making the entire collection healthier during periods of extreme heat. Don't forget to rotate your containers every week or two. Plants naturally lean toward the strongest source of light, so leaving a pot facing the same direction all season often creates uneven growth. Turning each container about a quarter turn every week encourages fuller, more symmetrical plants. Most importantly, remember that thriving flowers are never the result of one miracle trick. Deep watering, consistent feeding, regular deadheading, protecting the roots, occasional pruning, and adjusting container placement all work together. Ignore one of these habits and your plants may survive. Practice them all consistently and your flowers will truly flourish. The next time you admire someone's overflowing flower pots during the hottest weeks of summer, you'll know their secret isn't luck or expensive products. It's simply the result of small gardening habits repeated week after week. Start using these techniques today, and before long, you'll notice healthier plants, richer green foliage, and more blooms than ever before. Instead of merely surviving July, your containers can remain the highlight of your garden right up until the first autumn frost. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments which of these gardening habits you already practice and which tips surprised you the most. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss more simple gardening tips that help you grow healthier, more beautiful plants with less effort. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. 7. Check for pests before they become a serious problem. July isn't only the busiest month for flowers. It's also peak season for many common garden pests. Aphids, spider mites, whiteflies, thrips, caterpillars, and countless other insects multiply incredibly fast during warm weather. What starts as just a few tiny pests hiding beneath the leaves can become a major infestation within days, weakening your plants long before you notice anything is wrong. Many gardeners don't discover the problem until leaves begin curling, flowers become distorted, or sticky residue appears on stems and foliage. By then, eliminating the pests is much more difficult. The best defense is regular inspection. Every few days, take a close look at both the upper and lower sides of the leaves, paying special attention to fresh new growth where insects love to gather. If you find only a few pests, a strong spray of water or simply wiping them away by hand is often enough to stop the infestation before it spreads. Catching problems early almost always prevents the need for stronger treatments later. Spider mites deserve extra attention because they're nearly invisible during the early stages of an infestation. They thrive in hot, dry weather and frequently attack plants already weakened by summer heat. Tiny yellow speckles on the leaves, delicate webbing between stems, and dull, lifeless foliage are all warning signs that spider mites may be present. Increasing humidity around your containers, watering consistently, and occasionally rinsing the leaves can make conditions far less favorable for these destructive pests. Encouraging beneficial insects is another excellent way to keep pest populations under control. Ladybugs, lacewings, hoverflies, and tiny parasitic wasps naturally feed on many of the insects that damage garden plants. Whenever possible, avoid broad-spectrum insecticides because they often kill helpful insects along with harmful ones. A healthy, pollinator-friendly garden usually develops its own natural balance, where beneficial insects perform much of the pest control for you. Keeping containers clean also reduces insect and disease problems. Remove fallen flowers, dead leaves, and plant debris from the surface of the soil, as these materials often provide shelter for pests and disease-causing organisms. Good airflow, proper watering, and regular feeding also strengthen plants naturally, allowing them to resist insect attacks and recover much faster if pests do appear. Remember, the earlier you spot a pest problem, the easier it is to solve. Spending just a few minutes each week inspecting your containers can save you countless hours of frustration later in the season. Healthy, pest-free plants devote all their energy to producing lush green foliage and continuous blooms, keeping your flower pots vibrant, colorful, and beautiful for the rest of the summer.